Welcome to The Kid is in School, where we talk about whatever we want since our kid is not here to interrupt us. But we don't have a lot of time before the bell rings, so let's get right into it.
All right, we're at that time of year where everybody's making their travel plans. I'm a comedian, so I travel all the time anyway. You're a comedian too, but you handle travel much differently than me.
Yes, I handle travel by not handling anything at all. I just let it happen. I am so close to a zero packing policy because I've forgotten so many things. Like, I avoid it till I absolutely have to. And I've forgotten underwear. I've forgotten toothpaste. So many toiletries and actual essential clothing items that I would just much rather not have to worry about putting anything in a suitcase.
I don't understand it at all because I like to be over-prepared. I want everything packed and done so I don't have to rush and think about it. But I've got it kind of streamlined. I know what I need to take. But sometimes it's almost mind-boggling to me. I will see what you brought, and it's like, why did you bring 3 pairs of snow boots, but you didn't bring underwear or toothpaste? Like, what is this?
Once again, we're about to travel, and my bag is too bulky because it has, 3 of the same things, sweatshirts. I've got 3 cozy sweatshirts and no pants. And it's like...
And why would you do that?
I know. Just put 1 sweatshirt in and put in 2 pairs of pants if I need it. Well...
You almost handle these zombie apocalypse type shows where you're the last few people on Earth and you're all vying for the same supplies, and you go into a general store and you just take whatever is left over from people looting, and you just take those 4 items that are left in there. You got 4 cans of cream corn in your suitcase.
Yeah, I was going to say, or I go first and I still just take 4 cans of cream corn. I'm like, cream corn sounds good today. Well, I'm done. Yeah, you're like the character that George Clooney played in Up, where he has everything perfectly packed. He has it down to a science because you know exactly how much time you want to leave to get somewhere so that you can be comfortable, I guess, when you're there. But here's the thing I notice about you. You're stressed all the way through. And I'm stressed all the way through too, but I don't make any rules for myself. So it's like, you'll say, hey, it's the night before, you really should pack. And you'll ask me, have you packed yet? And an hour later, how are you doing on packing? And the suitcase will still be open, but I'll have 1 shoe in there.
I feel like we could be 5 miles down the road and I still could ask you, have you packed yet? And you'd be like, I'll get to it.
No, truly, we've been on a trip and you said, I'll just bring up oh, you know what? I forgot to pack deodorant. And you'll go, how did you forget to pack deodorant after all of my prompts?
I don't get it. And yes, I'm stressed. There's certain things that are stressful. Getting to an airport on time, especially in New York, you just add extra layers of things where, I have to leave at 3 a.m. to get there 3 hours early for this 9 a.m. flight or whatever.
Right.
And that is not going to be conducive to a nice, calm atmosphere of getting someplace in a comfortable manner. Mm-hmm. But when we're taking a car or something like that, I'd just so much rather have everything done now so that in the morning we can relax. And
when does the relaxing happen for you? You said that to me too. You were like, okay, get everything ready tonight so that we can just chill in the morning. And I laughed at myself there's no chilling in the morning.
No, I won't chill. You can chill. Because the chill part I can have is knowing everything's taken care of so that it isn't something where I go, all right, I got to go pick up the rental car. I got to go drop off the dogs or whatever it is. And an hour later I come back and you're still sitting at the kitchen table having breakfast that you started when I left. And it's like, oh, no, I didn't pack anything. Now it's going to be an hour of packing. Now I need snacks. Now I need this.
Right.
And we end up leaving 2 hours later than I wanted to leave.
But what is it you're trying to avoid? Forget about, I get that I stressed you out because our styles are not compatible. But let's say you're trying to get to an airport on time. Are you afraid of being bored at the airport? Are you afraid of being restless at the airport? Is there something that, why the high stress is what I'm wondering.
No, I don't think...
Missing the flight, right?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's stressed about being bored at an airport. It's that I don't want to miss a flight. I don't want there to be any problems. I just want to be able to get on the airplane. It's like, why does everybody line up?
You know why I'm laughing is because missing the flight is not the most stressful part to me. Waiting in the security line is so unpleasant. because you're tired and you haven't had a chance to eat like a real breakfast. So you're just staring at people and you're wondering, why do they dress that way? And
No, on top of that, you have all that's all
missing
there.
the flight is like a bonus. It's like, oh, good. I was worried for nothing. I wasn't meant to catch this flight. You know what I mean?
No, that is not a real thing. There is nothing in the world which, like, the universe didn't mean for you to catch this flight. No, when you bought the flight for 10 a.m., that is when you were meant to take that flight. It wasn't you were meant to take a 6:30 p.m. flight, or else you would have booked that flight.
Gosh, I'm just remembering back the last time I was in line for a flight, there was a man who was sweating bullets and he was talking to everybody from the back of the line to the middle where I was, and he made his way to the front. And when he got, I was like, what is he telling people? And when he got there, he said to me, my flight is in 10 minutes. Can I please cut ahead of you? And I was like, yeah, of course. I mean, if I were him, I would have just shouted to everybody in line, hello, everyone. My flight's in 10 minutes. And I'm having a panic attack, but he took the time to ask everybody and he made his way in. And I just thought, if I was him on the outside of the line, either I would have shouted to everybody, can I get through? And then if they said no, I would have walked away, or I would have just given up right there.
I don't know why he's starting at the back of the line. I think you go right up to the front security person and said, my flight's in 10 minutes.
It was snaking a lot. Anywho, I was just wondering if there was ever a time where you do get to relax, because you are very regimented and it seems to work for you. You get everything done. I stay kind of like in a suspended state of avoidance and I don't get anything done, but we still both get there. You know what I mean?
Well, that's true, I guess, but there have been times that you haven't gotten there, or I haven't gotten there. When one of my first flights in New York, I think was to, I don't know, go back to visit family for Thanksgiving or something like that. And I missed my flight because I just didn't know how long it took to get to LaGuardia Airport from Brooklyn.
Right.
So I think that I left somewhere at 2 hours before my flight, which is more than enough than you would need back in Indiana. You'd be there a half hour early if you did that, left 2 hours to go, and you could be driving all across the state practically and still make your flight. So to get there, and it was like, oh yeah, your flight's gone. And I was like, flight's gone? Like, I left 2 hours ago. Yeah. There's no chance of you making this one.
It's devastating. Then you have to wait for standby. My big flight miss thing, every time I've missed a flight, it's been the airport's fault. And I don't like it because then I'm at the mercy of the airport. I just have to.
Is that true?
It is true.
It's always been I feel like there was, especially when we were dating, multiple flights that you missed because you just didn't make it to the airport on time.
I promise. I have no recollection of ever being late to an airport because of bad time management.
I think that is selective memory. You're blacking out something, but that is not how I remember things.
Anyway, my point is not to analyze stress. My point is to say each their own. My method so far, I don't know. No, you know what? My method doesn't work for me because I really would like to be somebody who uses packing cubes and has a streamline, knows that they have everything they need in their suitcase. You know what? I would just like the suitcase to exist in a closet fully packed at all times with, 2 white t-shirts and 2 pairs of jeans and 8 pairs of underwear. That would be my goal. So maybe that'll be my New Year's resolution. I also need snacks. Let's switch back to road travel. When I go to a convenience store or a gas station, I'm specifically looking for beef jerky, corn nuts, some kind of that's my protein. I need a grain, and then I also want a dessert. So some kind of snack cake.
I like that
the heart attack special.
You've somehow got these. You're trying to use nutritional names like protein and a grain, and it's like
a whole grain.
I need a carb. But these are all processed things. So they're just protein in technicality.
Yeah, they're flavorful bursts of joy.
Because all of them are just basically salt blocks.
It is very high sodium. You're right. And then that's why you have to get the snack cake to counterbalance the sodium. You, on the other hand, will eat one of those sad, cold, ghastly, hard-boiled eggs.
It's the only thing healthy that those gas stations usually have is they've got the hard-boiled eggs, which sounds, when you say it out loud, just sounds horrendous. that you're getting a hard-boiled egg.
But to you,
at a
it's an
gas station.
oasis. It's like, oh, good, something that's real food here. Everything else is a rotating grease log.
Yes, it is. It's like you have to, at least eggs, because they come packaged by whatever company makes these eggs. They're in a sealed package and they are refrigerated so you can get an actual egg. The ingredients, eggs. That's it. There's nothing else.
And you know what's next to those is the sad Lunchables that's like 5 grapes, one of which is soggy, a triangle of cheese, and I don't know what else they throw in there.
I'll get some of those sometimes. Like
I hiss at those. I go like that and I walk away.
and head over to the corn nut aisle.
That's right. I hug the corn nuts.
And they do have an aisle of corn nuts.
Why do they have so many flavors?
Because
It's like,
we stopped.
what do you want your farts to smell like tonight? Barbecue?
Mesquite.
Mesquite.
They
They're
are
cursed.
the places that we tend to go, because the ones that have these large gas station convenience store things attached are places like Pilot or Flying J or
Sheets.
Sheets. Sheets. It's not as much as Pilot and Flying J are specifically, I think, aimed at truckers.
Oh, right. They give you the shower.
They have the shower.
They announce it
I've
over
never
the
taken
speaker.
one of those, but I do know.
Mr. Billy Bob, your shower stall is ready.
Stall number 4 is available, and I can't even imagine doing that because it was gross enough to like have to go shower in a dorm when I was in college to have to go like, all right, I gotta have shower shoes because I don't want somebody else's fungus.
Aha, you do use sour shoes. We had this discussion tonight of like, why are you packing sandals for our daughter? And I was like, because don't you like to have like a little protection for your feet? And you're like, no, I want to connect with the ground. So when you just said college showers, I thought, oh no, were you one of those barefooters?
No, that was, it was a requirement there. So, but that's the thing. Like, I don't like wearing sandals in the house or house shoes, as I don't know, somebody's grandma would call them. I always picture these mama's family type of shoes.
Right, little fuzzy pink slippers
Yes.
that hang off the back.
And I'm like, I don't want that, and I'd rather have just bare feet.
So the gas station shower you're picturing is just horrible.
I'm picturing that they have a little shower caddy that they take in with
It's the
them.
Karate Kid. Wait, that was a shower costume. That wasn't an actual shower.
That was
He was
just,
in a public restroom.
yes.
That's
That-
what I'm picturing.
That was a boy inside of a shower costume. But I hope that's not what's going on in there.
That's what Flying J showers are like. Put on your shower costume and pretend to get clean. No, I'm sure they're luxurious. I'll never know.
I hope you never have to know. But those are the places and so they have just rows of these snack things, and occasionally a hard-boiled egg. Everyone has a hard-boiled egg at these places, but then there are these sandwiches. I don't know where these sandwiches come from.
Who's making these
No,
sandwiches?
because they're in cellophane, so they look like they're hand wrapped.
Yeah.
Who's wrapping the sandwiches?
And is
Because
it
there's no
happening?
kitchen.
Is it happening there at the gas station at 4 a.m. when everybody's gone away?
It's very weird. It's bizarre, and I don't get it. And so those type of rest stops, those gas stations are very. They're the ones I go to because they have at least the most options. If you just
They're dependable.
Yes, if you go to like just a normal Shell and it's a convenience store, it's usually like, okay, they have a couple candy bars and
They've got everything
a
I
5-hour
like.
energy or something like that.
They have everything I need, but nothing you could use.
I don't want any of those things.
Not even a vacuum sealed cheese stick. You know those little they take Colby Jack and they cut it into a long cube.
I will get some of those sometimes.
The
Yes.
things that bother me about those is they're not refrigerated.
No, they are refrigerated.
No, the ones I'm picturing, the ones that
Oh, you're talking because they have
They're
the
next to the
refrigerator.
beef jerky.
You're talking about the ones that are like Jacks.
Yeah.
And it's not really cheese. It's more like it's kind of almost dusty tasting.
that's the cousin of the refrigerated cheese that the refrigerated cheese doesn't like to invite to the
That
holidays.
kind of cheese is what they actually does come in the holidays because it's always anytime you get like a box with a summer sausage and
yeah.
a little mustard, it's those unrefrigerated cheeses that come in it.
Yes, it is. I was making a metaphor. I was making the cheese a person who has a holiday dinner who's not inviting his distant family member, but
Oh, the cheese is the
We'll
one
let
not
it
done. So okay, I was thinking. Okay,
yeah, it's all right. Another way we're different is that you like podcasts and I would prefer to have music. podcasts put me to sleep, and that's very dangerous when you're trying to drive.
I don't know if that's a good selling point for our own podcast to say podcast put me to sleep.
Please do not listen to me talk if you're operating heavy machinery. All right, save me for later when you're in the shower.
That's a question for you. Should just anybody that's just write us on social media and be like, does Abby's voice make you want to go to sleep? Because I don't think it does.
How dare you?
I don't think that's gonna be something you're accused of. Like,
I'm very soothing. You know when I realized my voice
that crane accident was because they were listening to the Kid Is in School podcast, and
every night, instead of ASMR, I choose to listen to The Kid Is in School so Abby's cackle can lull me into sleep. Well, it reminds me of when I used to sing to our baby when she was a baby, and then when she became a kid, she was like, no more of that.
yeah, I've had enough, thank you.
In no uncertain terms, she was like, anybody sings but you, ma'am.
She just puts her finger up next to your lips. Shh.
I keep trying it on her. I'm like, have you changed your mind yet, sweetie?
Yeah.
But anyway, I can't, but anyway, talk radio. My mom used to listen to NPR when we would do road trips, and I guess I just got used to not understanding the concepts and falling asleep out of boredom or something. Remember that?
No, my dad didn't listen to NPR. So
okay,
I don't
fine.
know. In fact, I don't even know what he listened to because all I remember is my parents talking the entire trip. And then I would be playing Game Boy or something like that and have like headphones in. And
Wow, to be a fly on the wall. I'd like to hear them chatter. I was picturing them listening to like a family of people who wear choir robes, you know? So that's like two sisters and two brothers, and they're harmonizing, and they're like, there's a Jolly J for Jesus. I meant to say Jolly Day for Jesus, but Jolly J for Jesus works too.
It's the J in Jesus. It's the Jolly J.
Yeah. Anyway, so I can't, as much as I appreciate that podcasts exist, even the storytelling ones, I'm out like a light the second I hear them. But you're the one driving usually for our road trips.
Yeah, well, they keep me intellectually stimulated. I don't know about you, but like I like mysteries, murder mysteries. I will listen to a wrestling podcast that just goes into nostalgia.
You will.
And unsolved mysteries. There's sports things, just different types of podcasts out there, and I will be able to, because a podcast, generally speaking, is like an hour or 40 minutes or 45, something in that range. And sometimes, if it's a PTI podcast, pardon the interruption, that's like 25 minutes. So I know I could listen to a couple of those.
So they're timed out.
Yes, and it allows me to not focus on the travel and the time of that. I'm hearing a story, I'm thinking about that, and then it's like, oh, this one's over. Now we've already gone, 10% of this trip, or we've gone a third of this trip already because that's done.
Now let me ask you this, because I love driving, but my friends used to tease me that I was not the best driver, and I never accepted it, so I'm not even going to go into why they thought that. All right, I don't know if they were just teasing me, but I will say that when I'm driving on a long road trip, I'm always gripping the wheel. So I'm never really comfortable. I get tightness in my lower back. Do you just get
You're like
into
white knuckling
Yeah.
it? And
I'm like, and it's not because I'm afraid of anybody running into me. It's because I don't want to miss a turn. Even if it's like 6 straight miles, you're going to be on this road for a while. I'm just like, I get distracted. Like I'll look and say, oh, look at that sign over there. Oh no, did I miss it? You know what I mean? So it's not a relaxing experience for me.
Signs of a bad driver, by the way.
Really?
Missing exits, not following the directions.
Yeah, getting distracted from your one job of paying attention to the road. No, it's more like, I don't know how to describe it. But so to me, it's not boring. Even though it's monotonous and there's not much happening, I'm still on high alert, so I can't possibly. So like to have a podcast to listen to is just extra thinking to have to do, and I don't want to do it.
No,
you're engaging in a convo. You're just like an active person at the table listening to them, and you're nodding along with them. You're a third host when you're listening to these podcasts.
And for you, it's just another distraction.
Yeah, for me, I'm just like it's like two people arguing in front of me, and I'm like, I'm trying to hear what the road is telling me.
Yeah, it's occasionally I will listen to music too, but the problem I have with music is because I end up on the road for long stretches of time. If we've got our daughter with her, I definitely break up the trip a lot more than I would on my own. Mm-hmm. And I have different rules of the road for myself, which is I can't drive really more than 12 hours in one day. And that sounds insane to people that do not do comedy for a living. 12 hours, yeah. But like,
You're a glutton for punishment.
I know. Now I have a usual rule is like if I go to a gig or in one night, like it's a one-nighter gig, if it's anything over 4 hours away, one way, then I kind of want a hotel. I don't really want to drive there and back in the same night if it's that long. It depends on when the show is. If it's a later show, like a 10 p.m. show, I won't be getting out. I don't want to drive back at 2, 3 in the morning.
Well, yeah, there's nothing scarier than being sleepy on the road, and you will always have some kind of. It's the only time you'll ever drink coffee is like a little coffee-based energy drink or something.
Yeah, I would. That's the only time. There's one of a Monster makes one that's doesn't have sugar in it and it's coffee-based and
Your policy on road trips is absolute displeasure. Like I have to be tortured. I don't want food that tastes good. I don't want drinks that have any flavor. I just want fuel.
When you say it all like this, it makes people think that I'm crazy or something like that.
You are maniacal.
People are like, who would ever want to travel like that? I like to make it as streamlined as possible.
You're like a military man in my mind. You just have a way. You're like, no, there's no room for distraction.
Yeah,
Get it done.
We have friends that will drive from New York all the way to like Wisconsin or Minnesota, I guess, and it will be all the way through the night with multiple kids and nobody's allowed to go to the bathroom or anything like that.
He's a good drill sergeant there.
And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like if our daughter's with us, then I have pretty much 2 hours. It's like every 2 hours I'll take a break, let her stretch, kind of get out and then we'll get back in the car. It gives her a little break of 20, 30 minutes to just relax.
Before kids, I used to be the one that would whine and I'd be like, man, I'm hungry. And you're like, I told you to pack snacks. We are not even out of the city yet. And I'm like, it's been a half hour. It's been an hour. You know, I knew that used to drive you nuts. Now I've packed my own snacks, but we have a daughter in the backseat who's like, this seatbelt's choking me. She always has some new excuse for why she has to get out immediately. And you're like, I just know that you're like, it's not part of the plan.
I know. And she's already been like, for some reason, she thought we were taking a train and when she heard I had a rental car, she's like, what? I'm going to be sick. And I don't believe she really gets car sick. I think she's picked that up from you getting car sick and then says that she's getting car sick too because she's uncomfortable in the car.
Yeah, I don't know if she gets car sick either because I said, how does it make you feel? Queasy? And she goes, not queasy. Just, what was the word she used? It was
I didn't hear her say it.
Yeah, it was some far-fetched thing of like, you've never been car sick in your life. She said something like, just...
Itchy.
Yeah, it was something like that. So anyway, so since she does all my whining for me, I've tried to tone that down. And you are very generous. You have stretching breaks and play breaks and dog potty breaks. You know, you're good with that.
Yeah, well, I have to with if it's just me by myself, I can do that. Like I can drive to Indiana in like 10 hours. If you guys come along, that's adding literally another 4 hours to this trip.
Your bladder's mad at you. It's like, come on, man. You're like, no.
Well, I could...
We're making gains.
But the thing, if I really have to go, it's like I could stop every 2 hours. Sometimes I do stop every 2 hours, but I will...
You're in and out.
I go in, use the restroom, and get back out. It's 5 minutes max, and then I can go. And the dinner breaks are just me going getting those eggs, getting in the car and going.
No, I hear you. Any road trip I'm on, even with friends, I will stop and go in the gas station even if I don't need to get anything. I just have to get out of that car. I want to look around. I want to hear what the music's playing on. I want to hear which Rob Thomas song they're playing at the gas station. Anyway.
The one of the two.
The one that CVS doesn't play. Oh, I'm killing myself tonight.
Yeah, you're on fire.
Well, the other point of contention is, well, I don't know that this is a point of contention, but the other topic I would like to address with you once and for all is fast food and why you think Arby's is acceptable.
This is what...
And that Taco Bell isn't. Taco Bell is my favorite, and you're always like, ew, come on.
I find it's so funny that you've latched onto Arby's as my favorite when we stopped there once a decade ago.
I was so mad about it. I haven't let it go.
You're still thinking about it. It's like, look, I had Arby's once, and Taco Bell, none of them are any good. That's the thing. It's like, I think that I forget sometimes, and you probably do, is like, what do these actually taste like? And then we will order them,
Here we go.
and it's like, oh, these are not good. This is bad food.
It's relative. First of all, they do have a hierarchy among themselves. Okay.
What's the top of the pyramid of fast food?
McDonald's, because it is consistent, not because it's tasty or, haute cuisine, because it's like the French fry is going to taste the same no matter what state you're in. There's going to be a soggy one, an extra long soggy one that makes you happy, and
Only you, not me and the girl. We were like, what, soggy?
the pickle will be hot on your cheeseburger and it will irritate you, but it will be reliable. No, I think Taco Bell for me, because you can change it up. You can get variety in texture.
I'm thinking through my head, just trying to think variety. It's all of the same items, just how they wrap the tortilla around it.
Yeah.
It's
Gaffigan has a
bit about Mexican food in general, but like Taco Bell takes it to a new level where it's like we've got the Gordita Crunch Supreme or whatever.
They truly name their stuff by throwing a dart at a dartboard, and they're
The double decker taco.
this combo. Now we're gonna
Crunch Wrap
meat
Supreme.
forward this time. Lead with the meat.
Yeah, like when I was a kid, Taco Bell had a little different menu where I was like, we have a taco, we have a burrito, and we have nachos. Now it's like we've combined all of those things into one item that you can eat, that we wrapped it all up into another tortilla and then put it in a panini press and eat this thing.
Somewhere between childhood and adulthood, they came up with, I think it was the gordita, and it was the tortilla was thick. It was almost like a pita bread.
Yes.
That changed my life. Tacos haven't been that good since the day I once ate that. That and sidebar, Reese's Peanut Butter Puffs. Like the first day I ever tried those, I was like, cereal will never be the same again.
Well, the funny thing is, one of the trips that we went on, I don't remember. It was in the last couple of years. We didn't see a Taco Bell, but there was like a Taco John's or something like that.
It was
Taco
horrible.
Tom's.
I don't know how they figured out how to mess it up, but every single item, the lettuce, the meat, the cheese, the tortilla, it was all cursed.
It definitely was like it was like the brother of the Hollywood celebrity that you know,
Bob's.
where you're like, oh, George Clooney, he's got everything. He's world's sexiest man. He can act. He can direct. And then there's his brother that kind of is just a drifter, and that's what Taco John's was to Taco Bell.
It was the gambler dying on a train.
I called it Taco Bell's, by the way. After Taco John's got into my head.
That's genetic for you. Adding the S on the end of things.
Oh yes, we do say that a lot in Indiana. The Taco Bells, the WalMarts, all of these are just one place, but we've added the S.
They're plural.
Except for the ones that have S's, like McDonald's. It's McDonald. We eat at the McDonald. It's like I don't know what's going on with the S's.
It's a regional grammar. Yeah. So, you know what my red flag was about that weird taco place that I tried to substitute for Taco Bell was that their opening graphic that floated above the heads of all the employees was a fried chicken patty in a taco shell with lettuce and
that was Taco John's
mayonnaise. Yeah, I was like, what in the world is that? I'm not getting it, but why? I just pointed and was angry.
Yeah, there is. It's amazing, like what people call food sometimes with some of these places.
It is.
It's like what?
It's
what
a big
is
stretch.
That?
And
Yeah.
I always think, you know what? I'll just be sensible and get a salad at Wendy's. And then you look at the salads at Wendy's and you're like, well, it's just got strawberry syrup all over it as a dressing. Like the raspberry vinaigrette just looks like IHOP's strawberry syrup.
I like that the raspberry vinaigrette is actually just strawberry syrup. It's not even raspberry.
Not even. No, I'm just saying it's the equivalent of what you would have reached for pancakes.
It is, I think that one of the things that these places do is, I don't know who the clientele is that they're luring in, but they'll just call something loaded. We've got the loaded potatoes or the loaded taco or loaded salad. And it's like, I think you have to be loaded to actually find these edible.
Yeah. And when you're done, you're going to have a loaded pair of shorts. It's not good for you. Well, I will say that it's not the journey, it's the destination sometimes. And when you have an overnight For me, sleeping anywhere that doesn't have my bed or bathroom is camping. Like, I just can't. I can't, even if it's a nice place. And, I love everybody who's ever welcomed me into their home. But I'm just neurotic like that. Like, if I don't have my creature comforts, I'm tense. And I think it rubs off on the hosts. I think they pick it up.
Because nobody ever has you back. It's always like, next time maybe there's an Airbnb nearby.
Like months after visiting your nephew, he brought it up to me. He's like, yeah, I don't know what offhand joke he made, but he was just like, I was like, you're still remembering that, aren't you?
Yeah, there was, I don't know if it was.
I think what I did was I lined every single one of his trash cans with a bag that I preferred.
Yeah, I think you went to the store, bought trash bags, and lined their trash cans with the ones that you're like, I mean, come on, guys, you can't. Because
come on, what do you want me to do? Put a Kleenex in a bare trash can?
To me, that's their problem. Once my hand goes into the trash can, that is now their responsibility.
I accept that I'm a bad house guest. Have you been a bad house guest, or have you experienced them? What's your pet peeves?
I think in general, I'm pretty easygoing with everything. I think probably the things that people might over the years have liked the least about welcoming me into their home, especially if I am doing shows, is that I'm just kind of gone. Oh. So I don't...
don't stay and chat?
Well, I have a schedule. So usually it's like I need to go do something. So I think people... some people, not everybody, some people are kind of like, oh, I thought we were going to get to spend time with you here.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I know, but I'm working. So I am now gone when they are home from work. Like they're coming home at 5 or 6. And it's like, well, that's about, I'll see you for like an hour while I'm getting ready. And then I'm going out to the shows. If it's a club, maybe I've got 2 shows that night. So I got to be at the club by 7 or sometimes earlier, 6:30. And I'll be gone until midnight, and you'll be in bed, and so they'll have to give me a key. And
yeah, you're not on vacation; you're working
most of the time.
But if there was a movie about a character like you'd be the jerk.
Yeah,
like in movies they always paint it like you walk in late and they happen to be up in the kitchen in their bathrobe, like, oh, I was just reaching for a midnight snack, and you're like, oh, I'm glad I caught you. I really wanted to connect. You're like, peace.
Yeah. And
sorry you saw me. I'm out of here.
Yes, but just in general, like I don't complain about any of the circumstances. Like, it's all fine to me. If you want me to sleep on the couch, a lot of places have, people have a guest room or a child's room. I've used them all. I've stayed.
Yeah, you stayed in a race car bed.
I've stayed in just about everything. Like one of the best was staying in Hawaii, like going to visit friends in Hawaii, and
you gotta have friends in Hawaii.
Oh, you really do. Like just to stay with them, and they're good friends, but also we were able to go out and do stuff. They show us around, but they also gave us freedom to like, hey, if you want to do this with us, this is what we're doing. If you're not, we're doing this.
They have 3 kids. They're busy enough.
Yeah, they're
like I don't need 2 extra adult children in my back.
We're not going to parent you guys, but also
no, they're a really great host.
Yes,
some people have a gift of hospitality, and they are it.
Yes, and that's the tough thing on the flip side is it's hard for us to welcome people into our home because it's so small. It's a New York apartment, and we will occasionally, but it's also like, we've got a couch. So somebody can lay on the couch, and that's like one person. It's not a fold-out couch. It's just a couch. And there have been, like, my niece and her mom stayed, my sister-in-law stayed on, like, one on the couch, one on the floor.
Right.
At one point.
Space is at a premium. And also, if anyone, like, clears their throat in any room of our apartment, you can hear it. You can hear our neighbors clear their throats.
Yes.
So, the sense of intimacy isn't there. And I'm a little self-conscious about that. Like, you have to, I'm joking about how it feels like camping to someone else. It truly is camping if you try to come to a New York apartment to stay. You're going to compromise on a bed. And that, that brings me to Airbnbs. I don't know how people, like, have Airbnbs and still stay in their home. But that's the kind when it first got started, I remember I had to go out to LA, and I didn't even really look at the fine print and notice that the host would be living. They said the host on the premises, but I thought it was like you were going to live in your own guest house, and I was going to have your apartment to myself. But I stayed with a guy who, by the way, never fully understood that my name is Abby. He was always like, "Good morning, Albie." He made me oatmeal. He like knocked on my door. I made oatmeal. And I thought, oh, great, there's going to be a pot of oatmeal on the stove for me to serve myself. And it was him in his living room with 2 bowls, one for me and one for him. And it was very family style. He was my surrogate dad. He was my Henry Warnemont to my Punky Brewster.
Yeah, I do remember because you were out working in LA at that point for something, and you were calling me up and telling me these stories. And for one, if I remember correctly, he wasn't supposed to be there.
Oh, really?
I feel like he was like, "Hey, do you mind if I just stay here?" And you're like, "What? Where are you going to stay?" He's like,
Because I had his room.
yeah, you had his room, and then you're like, "I'll just stay on the couch or something like that." And then he was bugging you, like you won't even know this. It's almost like a sitcom, where
Yeah.
you won't even know I'm there, and then every single moment of every single day, you knew he was there.
Starting with oatmeal for 2, and then when I would go back to my room to like, get ready for the day, I'd hear him grunting, and it turned out he was doing yoga in the living room, just stretching himself out. He'd be like, I was like, what's going on out there? The one beautiful thing was, not only did I have his bedroom, I had his cats. He's like, my cats only like to stay in my room, so enjoy free pets if you want. Which I love cats, so it worked out nicely.
That worked out for you, but that would have been another strike against him under normal circumstances. Of like, my cats are only going to stay there, and the litter box is in there, and.
But he was unusually quirky. He had made friends with all these old Hollywood starlets, so he had a lot of their autographs framed on his wall, and they were all like, to whatever his name was, to Don, you're a great guy. And the other fun thing was he drove a Vespa scooter around, or some kind of scooter, and he offered to give me tours. He's like, every Airbnb guest I have gets a tour of the city. So I was like, great, I'll take it. And we just rode on a scooter. I didn't know this man.
Rode on a scooter.
I'm sharing oatmeal with him in the morning, and then I'm holding his tummy while we ride on a scooter.
And I can only imagine what the tour was. It's like, he's not actually showing you anything. This is the 7-Eleven that I go to.
The times I should have been murdered, I tell you. My mom has a lot of like near-death stories for me as a kid, but now even as an adult, I should probably stop having these stories. Yeah. Boundaries, people, they're important.
I know, and I do feel like Airbnbs in LA, in New York too, but LA I feel like are really weird people. So you've got bizarre people, and all the affordable ones are affordable for a reason. It's like, oh, this is $50 a night, and then you end up staying with somebody's, cats and him in the living room.
You're going to be someone's counselor.
Yes. Or they're doing some weird cult thing in the living room, so I've had experiences like if I go out to LA and have stayed in Airbnb for a couple things, it's never completely private. There's always somebody else in the place, and you're sharing a bathroom or you're sharing the kitchen space, and it's never quite as clean as it should be.
It's like a European hostel.
Yes, it is. It's like a hostel, and it feels sometimes like a hostage situation too when you're in these
How so?
of just like, I got to get out of here, but I've paid already, and there's no place else for me to go.
I'm picturing you like a little raccoon.
Yeah,
you just want to dig in the trash on your own. You don't want people showing up and bothering you with their big flashlights.
Yeah, it's the whole thing is advanced, and New York will have some of that, and I'm sure both these places you can get a place to yourself. But it's always like it's just a little off. And you go around the country, most of the time you get the whole building because people have bought up these buildings, especially now. A few years ago, people hadn't done this as much. Mm-hmm. But they buy up the whole building, they refurbish it, and it's for the sole purpose of being an Airbnb. Mm-hmm. Whereas it used to be, I think people were like, you know what? The Airbnb will be...
It's a bed and breakfast.
It's just a bed and breakfast. It's a bed in my home that I am not sleeping in, and I will be hopefully in another room that isn't just, on another side of a door of you.
Yeah, before Airbnb ruined bed and breakfasts were really nice. I don't know how these people came by this money, but they owned a whole building that was a restored house. Each room would be decorated in a theme. The owner would be one lady or maybe a couple who would actually bake the breakfast for you and have it ready. But they'd also be like a housekeeper in that they'd just be dusting something when you came down the stairs. They wouldn't be sitting there waiting for you with a mug of tea or a bowl of oatmeal, making eye contact.
Sleeping in the bathtub because there's no place else for him to sleep.
I just had another flashback to that man. His bathroom was in such a disarray. Now, this story is supposed to be about how he's strange, but truly I'm the weird guest. And I was like, would you mind if I reorganized your cabinets? Because it was full of travel shampoos, and it's just I don't know. I clearly am neurotic, but he let me, and we're best friends now. But it was,
you can't remember his name. He never knew your name. Best friends.
Look, when you share oatmeal and you rub someone's tummy.
Oh, you didn't mention you rubbed it. You just
I
said
hugged it.
hugged it. Were you rubbing the cat's belly or his
You get
belly?
lonely in LA. People don't tell you this when you're out there. No, I spent like 2 hours cleaning out his cabinet, and he actually thought it was a gift. He didn't say, "That was weird of you. How dare you?" He was just like, "Oh, thank you so much. It looks great."
Yeah, I think the point in all of this is you just need to stay home.
Thanks for joining us today. If you had a great time, let us know on social. Follow Kid is in School on Twitter and The Kid is in School on Instagram. Subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. Be sure to throw us one of those 5-star ratings and share with your friends. Oh, and do it quickly before the kid gets home.